In the ancient, thick forests surrounding the village of Amansiri, there lived a legendary hunter named Dyke. Now, Dyke wasn't the biggest man, nor the strongest. But what he had was something truly special, a patience sharper than any spear and a courage as steady as the morning sun. For years, Dyke was the guardian of his people. His traps were clever, his arrows true. He kept the village safe and fed. But then, one season, a deep darkness began to creep over the land. It started subtly. Hunters would venture into the forest and never return. Livestock were found torn apart in their pens at dawn. And a chilling, unnatural growl began to echo from the heart of the woods, a sound that made even the bravest warriors lock their doors as soon as the sun began to set. The village elders gathered, their faces etched with fear. Some whispered it was a demon. Others believed it was a cursed beast, a punishment from angry spirits. Amidst the growing panic, Dyke stood up. His voice was calm but firm. "Whatever it is," he said, "it bleeds. And if it bleeds, it can fall." Before the first light of dawn, he began his preparations for the greatest hunt of his life. He rubbed protective herbs onto his skin, their earthy scent a familiar comfort. He checked his quiver, tightening the leather strap, and picked up his father's old spear, its iron tip gleaming faintly in the dim light. As he stepped into the forest, the world fell silent. The air was heavy, thick with a sense of dread. The birds had stopped singing. Even the wind seemed to be holding its breath. Hours crawled by. Dyke moved with the silence of a ghost, his senses on high alert. Then he saw it. Near a shattered old tree stood a monstrous creature, a being that defied nature. It was half lion, half shadow, with eyes that glowed like embers in the dark and claws like curved, polished blades. It was larger and more terrifying than any animal Dyke had ever imagined. The very ground seemed to tremble as it turned its head and fixed its glowing gaze upon him. With a roar that shook the forest to its core, the beast charged. Dyke didn't flinch. He leapt aside at the last second, smoothly drawing and releasing an arrow that sank into the creature's massive shoulder. The beast howled in fury, shaking the leaves from the branches above. It swiped at him, its razor-sharp claws tearing through his arm. A fire of pain shot through him, but he refused to run. In his mind, he saw the faces of the children back in his village, their laughter and their trust. That was all the strength he needed. Scrambling onto a high rock, he held his spear ready, waiting for the perfect moment. As the beast lunged again, a blur of shadow and rage, Dyke drove his spear forward with every ounce of strength he possessed. The iron tip plunged deep into its chest. For a moment, there was absolute silence. Then, the creature collapsed, its shadowy form dissolving like smoke in the morning sun. Exhausted, wounded, but alive, Dyke walked back to Amansiri as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. When the villagers saw him, blooded but standing tall, a wave of relief and joy washed over them. Their fear was finally gone. From that day forward, they called him Dyke, the Hunter of Shadows. And his story was told for generations, not just because he killed a monstrous beast, but because he walked straight into the heart of fear and refused to bow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales of courage and legend. See you next time.